they've got a lot of mojo on their side, winning 3 straight games. Mike Riley starting to heat up. John White, he's really starting to run that ball quite well. And that defense, becoming that type of defense that Devon Claybrooks and their entire coaching staff had looked forward to having. Guys, this game's going to be exciting tonight, because I know one team coming out on that field tonight, and there they go, the BC Lions, they're coming out throwing haymakers. Toronto, you better be ready to play some football tonight.
No doubt about it. And, you know, Rod, you're looking really nice in that 3-piece. I got to tell you, you're looking
I'm trying to be like you, Benny.
You're looking really good. And the BC Lions are looking a lot better. You know who's not looking real good? The Argonauts have not done really well. But right now, the Lions have gotten a lot better. They've been balanced, running the football. Kelly Bates has obviously had a huge impact on that protection and that line in that system. And right now, I'm watching them on the sideline last week. They had some mojo and excitement. And you know what? You saw them dancing this week. And it's time to go out there, have fun, and stay alive.
I'm not going to suck up to Rod. That's not my style.
Oh, come on, Milt. You never have. Just once. Just once. Just once.
Looking nice.
Oh, my goodness. Not like that, Benny. Well, you know what? You talked about that defensive line. 9-11 is what they call themselves. Lemon and Odell Willis, they're getting after the quarterback. Since Lemon's been traded over there, he's having one of his better years. Odell Willis in the last couple of games, we see him getting after the quarterback, and you talk about it, those sacks, that make a big difference. When you're in 1st and 10 and you get somebody in 2nd and long, it's very difficult to get those first downs.
They're playing with great momentum, and Odell's playing inside at the 3-technique tackle, which is not natural where he's at, but I've used him at that position. He's deadly. You put him on the guard, it's dangerous because he's so athletic and he makes plays. And when you look at the totality of it, that defense in the last month and a half hasn't given up a lot of points. So it gives a chance for that team to stay balanced, because early in the year, they weren't balanced and it was a problem.
Speaking of a chance, I mean, the bottom line, even like it's not realistic at all. They have to win out. They need the Eskimos to lose out. But if they win tonight, then they play Edmonton, so they would have a little bit of control week to week. Do you allow yourself? I mean, you got to believe in something, right? You got to keep the hope somehow, do you?
Right, but the fact is they have a lot of veterans on that team that understand what they're going up against. And you know, with Devon Claybrooks being the head coach, guys like Nick Lewis, Ryan Phillips, these are guys that have been in these type of positions. They've been through the wars of what it takes to get into the playoffs. They know they can't look for step 2 without taking care of step 1. And that's beating Toronto tonight. This is a game they should win. Everybody from coast to coast, maybe a couple of Argo fans are saying maybe we can win this game, but everybody knows BC should win this game tonight, because now I'm seeing Mike Riley with more than just one weapon to throw to. Shaq Johnson stepping it up. Even y'all's guy, Deron Carter, he's starting to make some plays, but everybody's making plays for BC, and it's good to see this team rising to the occasion at the appropriate time.
And it won't be easy for these BC Lions. You look at these Toronto Argonauts, they're playing for jobs. Come on. They're not going to make the playoffs. Let's be realistic. But they're playing for jobs now. They're playing to be invited back next year for training camp by those coaches and whoever the GM is. If it's Jim Pop, they're talking about making changes, or I don't know. But you're playing for a job right now at every single position. So it's going to be a hard-fought game.
It's a far trip. That time change is tough, too. That's tough.
Well, be curious to see what happens. By the way, I think all you guys are looking sharp, even you, Milt.
I always look good. Rod, you don't have to tell me, Rod. And I'm not going to suck up to you, Rod. I don't care what you look. You look all right today. Your wife picked out a nice outfit. I like that, Rod.
We got a game to talk about now. And also, Richard Higginbottom of Chilliwack, BC. This is your chance to win big, thanks to Save on Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If a kickoff's return for a TD, you could win $10,000 home theater package, and if it happens twice in this game, you could also win $1 million. Richard, good luck. Part 3, triple header. BC plays in Vancouver, and here come the Lions and the Argos trying to stay alive. Kickoff coming up.
This program may contain coarse language that could offend some viewers. Discretion is advised.
Our Saturday night triple header finale from the West Coast. It's an East-West collision as the BC Lions tackle the Toronto Argonauts on live Mike Night in Vancouver.
Yeah, we'll listen in to James Franklin, who is in start number 4 of the 2019 campaign, still looking for his first win. Sean Lemon will be trying to make it difficult for his former teammate, James Franklin. Of course, Lemon, former Toronto Argonaut, and of course, Mike Riley, also mic'd. He's been fighting a cold for the last 2 games. I hear you, Mike. It's been going around. And we'll also have defensively Abdul Kenna, who leads the Argos in tackles with 56.
You're sounding good tonight. Here's Corey Chamberlain. His Argos play their final game against a Western opponent. 1-8 against the West, including a heartbreaking 18-17 loss to the Lions back in July. On the other sideline, Devon Claybrooks looking for the Lions' first 4-game win streak since 2017. It would keep them on playoff life support going into a showdown next week against the team they're trying to catch, the Edmonton Eskimos. These two teams have split their season series in each of the last 6 years. And the Argos hope to keep that trend alive tonight.
Both these teams.
East has beat West twice this week. The West has won the overall leads and will win the overall series, leading 22-16. But the most wins by the East, second most wins since 2006. Lions are going to get the football first. Tyler Carpino's got it on the team. And we're underway at BC Place Stadium. It'll be Jamal Lyles. And Frank Beltray leads the charge downfield. Lyles pushed back before he reaches the 35. Here comes Mike Riley after 2 consecutive 300-yard games.
Yeah, and 3 straight wins for the BC Lions. They're starting to turn the corner and turn things around. Riley second in the league in passing yards behind Trevor Harris coming into the week.
5R, here we go. Quads left yaw 61, W Argo go, R flat X Caddis burst, Alpha Alpha, ready? 61 with the burst. Set hunt! 380! 380 hunt!
4 receivers wide side, looking that way. Looking deep on a double pump. Got an open man. But it's broken up at the last second. Alden Darby came across as that ball hung up.
We're taking a look at that BC receiving core, and they moved Shaq Johnson inside, but Lamar Durant, probably their candidate for Outstanding Canadian this year. MOP candidate will be Brian Burnham. Over 1,000 yards this season for Burnham, and there's Philip Norman in the middle. Will be calling out the stunts from that front 7 of the Toronto Argonauts.
Alpha. 380! 380 hunt!
Riley steps up. He'll take off and lunge ahead. He'll reach the 45. That should be a first down.
Be interesting to see this receiving core with the changes. Rashawn Simonides goes out to that wide out spot on the wide side where Shaq Johnson normally has played all year, and Johnson moves inside, and with his great speed, I want to see if that opens up some space for guys like Burnham. Johnson trying to block for his quarterback on that last play.
380! 380 hunt!
And off to John White inside. And 5 yards against this Argo defense, ranked last in points allowed.
Well, they just can't get any continuity in their lineup, and there's Keenan Gilchrist, gets his second start at defensive end. That's the spot that Sean Lemon had at the beginning of the season. Sean Lemon now a BC Lion and will be Mike tonight, and there's kind of the Swiss Army knife for this team. He's played all over through the secondary and at the linebacking core. He's at the will spot here tonight, and there's the change. They bring Jermaine Gabriel in at safety. Alden Darby bumps out to corner. Last minute change today.
380 hunt!
2nd and 5, fake to White, and a catch for Brian Burnham, and a first down for BC at the Argo 45-yard line. Burnham needs 79 in this game to retake the CFL receiving lead from Brandon Banks.
Beats press coverage here, and it was pretty good coverage. I don't think you can be any better than Anthony Covington was on that, but Burnham wins the battle. What a season.
380! 380 hunt!
Here's White. Cuts it back, found a hole, has a first down. John White, 5th in the league in rushing, coming in.
Couple 100-yard games for John White this season. Gets a real nice pull block on the outside from Renfro. That's the kick-out block. It's another first down, new set of downs for BC in the opening drive.
What do we have
Best
here?
game for White was against Toronto, 138 yards.
The hunt. 380. 380 hunt.
First down BC. There's that fake. And in the hands of Burnham. And dropped around the 25. Kadarius Ford is there.
See the importance of that first run from John White, and then they go to the fake to John White, and it takes Keenan Gilchrist, the end on that side for Toronto, right down to try and stop the run. See, he crashes down 54. That leaves Mike Riley open on the edge, and he dumps it off to Burnham.
And doubles left tight. W X fly 93 hack W wrap X edge alpha alpha. Ready? 93. Got to get a yard. Got to get a yard.
I think John White's getting it.
Yeah, little reminder to John White. We need 1 yard here.
380. 380 hunt.
Oh, he's got it. A lot more.
Put up, Jack.
Almost looked like Riley or White went the wrong way, but they got the right result.
Yeah, that hesitation almost helped because it looked like it allowed the O-line to sort of set up their blocks and get a guy on the second level. That's Philip Norman, who I highlighted. He gets out on the linebacker, Ian Wild, in the middle of the Argo defense tonight. You get that center on the second level, you got a chance.
99 shack, alpha alpha, ready? 98 kill 99, all right? Let's go, trombone.
3 carries, 30 yards for John White in this opening series.
330. 330 hunt.
And they feed him the football again. This time, Ian Wild leads the charge. Alvin Darby is there. The Lions had 171 rushing yards back in July against this Argo defense.
Ball's right hand.
Argo defense that has made so many changes, and partly due to injury, but partly just trying to find the right combination. Corey Chamberlain has had to change his secondary almost on a game-to-game basis. He's gone through 3 different middle linebackers. Defensive ends rotating every couple of games. Not by design on rotation, but necessity to find a combo.
2nd and 11. Pump from Riley. Looking into the end zone and almost intercepted. Intended target was Lamar Durant. Closest man to it was the safety, Jermaine Gabriel.
Well, he covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
Lamar Durant is the widest receiver to the trips formation to the field. And in the middle is Gabriel. Little double move on the inside. Fake. Gabriel covers a lot of ground to have a shot at that ball. What you want your safety to do, have range back there and play the football.
Castillo with the best percentage in the league, 91.4. Missed that one, but it turned out to be the winning points back in July. It doesn't miss this. Lions have 3 off their opening drive here against the Argos. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, ranked #1 in quality by J.D. Power. James Franklin gets the start, 4th of the year, looking for his first victory.
360 Pearl Mirror. Monday, hurry, touch.
And that ball could be intercepted. It is picked up by TJ Lee off the tip. And Lee is dropped around the 22-yard line. What a start for this Lion defense. Ball gets tipped in. TJ Lee comes up with his 2nd interception of 2019.
Just 4-man pressure on that interception. This is Jonathan Newsom, the newcomer on the D-line for the BC Lions. The O-line, the right side for the Argos, block it up nicely. They get Odell and Newsom blocked up, but Newsom throws that right hand up, gets the tip. James Franklin wanted the quick game out there to S.J. Green, and TJ Lee gets the first turnover tonight.
10 takeaways in the previous 3 for this improving BC defense. They take over on the 25. And Riley throws short of Brian Burnham. He doesn't look sharp out of the gate, does he?
He just talking to himself there for a second.
Here we go. Huddle it. Huddle it.
Just said, come on now. That's
Here we go. Hey, fib. Spread right, R, gang, 61X, basic. R, Cali, bite, Y, snap, S, wide, alpha, alpha. Ready?
missed a ton of practice time last week before the Montreal game. Played with the cold and the bad chest cold he's had. Missed walkthrough yesterday.
2nd and 10, 5 receivers out, pressure coming.
Oh boy.
Riley got away initially, now he's just going to throw it away to avoid the sack. Freddie Bishop was leading the charge, and Riley avoids losing about 20 yards there by throwing it out of bounds.
Well, you know, Riley will put that on him.
On a receiver, Toronto, number 21.
Wow.
That's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
Press coverage.
Kadarius Ford flagged, and it's a first down BC. When it looked like the field goal unit was coming on.
Well, we'll take a look here. There's Deron Carter. There's Brian Burnham. Who gets contacted? Ford right there. He's right around the 5-yard border.
Hunt. 390. 380 Hunt.
First down at the 15. White. Not much there. Maybe a yard. Bishops and Lang converging.
Follow it. Let's go.
I looked at it quickly in the break there and saw that
beta,
it was about
beta.
7 yards when he made contact. So it was illegal contact.
361 Y line. Bubble 1.
One of those where it was an infraction, but Riley never even got a chance to look that way with the pressure coming. 2nd and 9. Quick hitter over the middle. It's caught. Stretching. Brian Burnham. Touchdown.
Big penalty, though, because on the sudden change, the Argos got the 2-and-out they wanted just to hold the Lions to a field goal attempt, but the penalty gives them a new set of downs. The new set of downs is converted in the Brian Burnham touchdown.
7th touchdown of the year and his 7th in the last 8 games.
Just get in his wheelhouse, and I like your chances throwing in number 16.
16th touchdown pass of the year for Riley. On target to his favorite target. Castillo adds the convert. So after the interception, 4 plays, 25 yards. In a minute 52, and Brian Burnham hits Paintered again. Three completions for Mike Riley in his first quarter, all 3, including the touchdown to Brian Burnham.
Yeah, inside cut against man defense for Brian Burnham, and Trumaine Washington opens the gate and allows him inside.
Here's former Lion Chris Rady, and he stepped out of bounds.
Which is how they got
Does
their
that not take you back to July in the final play?
How they got their first win. Let's go back to the route. Inside cut here by Burnham. He's going to run the slant on Trumaine Washington. And watch how Washington doesn't take the inside. When you're down inside the 20 as a DB, you've got to, in man-to-man, take away the inside. You see, he opens up his hips and allows Burnham to get inside position. As soon as you do that, now you're trying to get through the receiver to get to the ball, and Burnham doesn't allow it.
Argos start at their 22, and they'll hand it off to James Wilder.
Oh,
he dropped it. BC Looked like they had it, still loose, hot potato. And who ends up with it? There's at least 4 or 5, and the BC does get the football. Finally. Somebody greased up that pigskin. 2 plays, 2 turnovers by that Argo offense.
The Argo offense hasn't got the wake-up call yet today. Two plays run, 2 turnovers, and just lack of focus, concentration, whatever you want to call it, and 2 turnovers for the Lions. Let's see if they capitalize on the second.
I believe Gary Peters finally came up with the football, and there's number 4 with it.
Almost ran through people to go get that damn ball.
Nick 97.
Started at the 25 in the last series, here on the 29 of Toronto. Fake to White, he'll screen it. And it is a catch for Mario Villamazar, his first fullback out of Laurier. St. Catherine's native.
5R. One back. All right, here we go. What punch you want right here? Hey, let's go right here. Let's go. Deuce.
4 yards, 2nd and 6.
Let's go. Icky dot. Deuce, icky dot. Bunch left wax. 75 stay. W simba gas. Y and Z banger R flat. Alpha alpha. Ready? Yeah.
A Z banger against a Bruce Icky dot.
Actually for both of you. Yeah.
See who wins this one.
390. 390. Hunt.
Sets up, taking a shot, looking for Burnham. Oh, what a catch. Did he get a foot down? He did. What a remarkable catch for Brian Burnham.
When the Lions were struggling before the 3-game win streak, said many times that Brian Burnham is worth the price of admission. The season he's having.
Ruled a touchdown. They're going to take a look. Does he have control? Does he get the left foot down?
Well, CC never loses the ball. He never loses control.
Yeah,
so
but with control, does he have a foot down? That's the question, I think. So
tip. Well, it is closer than I thought originally.
I'm not sure this is going to stand, which would be a shame
it,
for highlight reels.
Tips it to himself, and if that left foot is on the white,
the left foot is down, I think, before the right foot is dragged there.
But does he have control now? No. Then the right foot is up. Yeah, it might be coming back.
Yep.
Still.
Is
After
there
review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So Brian Burnham has 2 with the game.
He'll take it.
I'm surprised at that call, but what a spectacular catch. And is there anybody better at bringing those down than number 16? Good to be lucky, lucky to be good.
I seen the way you was running that thing down, though. You look like you probably wasn't
2 touchdowns on the night. 8 on the year now for Burnham, so 8 in the last 8 games.
Absolutely spectacular catch, and nobody wants to take one of these off the board. Certainly not any football fan, but I'll tell you what, I think the command center got it wrong. He didn't have control when he put the left foot on the white stripe. That's when he gained control. When we slowed it down, it was pretty clear to me that he tipped it to himself. That's not control. And then stepped on the white leg. So he tips it to himself here, doesn't have control yet.
Control there, where's the feet?
But no foot, that's the first foot
feet
to touch.
Yeah,
that's on the white stripe. I think they got it wrong.
Yep. But in a year where a lot of things have gone wrong for the Lions,
they'll
take
take
a break.
And hey, Spectacular catch.
Rainey dropped at the 27. The former Lion, is pumped up to play his former team. Well, what else could go wrong for the Argos? 2 offensive plays, 2 turnovers, resulting in 2 Lion touchdowns.
2 split, 1 try.
They got to turn it around right now.
We'll wake up.
115, 115. Hey, Abel, watch that, Dirt. Friday.
And off to Rainey. Moves up to the 34. We'll set that offense for you.
Well, S.J. Green, if the Argos can keep their offense on the field, needs just under 100 yards to get to 10,000 in his illustrious career. We'll watch for that and track that tonight. Randy Richards will try and block Sean Lemon off the edge. Lemon, former Toronto Argonaut, the backside of James Franklin.
Monday.
Second and 3, Rainey carries and lunges ahead. Should be close to that first down. The Lions defense has been getting better by the week.
Got Lemon mic'd up. He's got 9 sacks, looking for sack number 10. There's Gilchrist, who replaced Sean Lemon in the defensive lineup. We talked about that in the onset. And there's Lemon. 8 sacks as a Lion, just 1 as an Argo before the trade.
Third and less than a yard. The Argos going to punt.
But this defense turned the corner about 6 weeks ago. Been playing very good football for the Lions since the acquisition of Sean Lemon and Jonathan Newsom.
Sean Lemon's fired up. He was chirping at some old teammates. Pepper to punt. Line driver. Ryan Langford's got it. And he is tossed out around the 43.
Rear Intelligent Emergency Braking. Innovative technology designed to help keep your family safe. Available in the Nissan Rogue.
So Mike Riley back to work. First time in 3 series, he won't be starting inside the Argo 30.
Fib. Weak right rip. 942 smack, Y slip, X Cali Z over, Alpha, ready?
Lions now have 111 points in the last 10 quarters.
380, hunt.
Big Dwight, far side of the field. Carter with his first catch of the game. Up at the 52, a gain of 8.
Yeah, well executed play there. Just a little play action fake to John White, and then the double out got Lamar Durant from the slot on an out, and Carter on the outside. And the zone defense, you had to pick your poison there.
Spread right, 42 break, Alpha, ready? Gotta get 2, John.
I love the reminders. Yeah.
With the Sally out there. 380.
So we know it's White. We know he needs 2. He'll get it. A lot more. Abdul Kenna drags him down all the way to the Argo 41.
You know, but one of the reasons for Mike Riley to remind his tailback that you just need 2 here is sometimes the tailback will dance in the backfield. Sometimes they'll give up yards to try and get the edge of the corner and bounce the play outside. But if you need 1 or 2, it's a little reminder from the quarterback saying, hey, just get that first, and then you can do what you want to do.
You can go back to the huddle and say, 15 good?
Yeah, is 15 okay? Is that cover it?
Getting the ball again, 45 yards prior to this run, and he got the edge, and looks like he's got another first down.
Argos defense comes in last against the run, about 121 yards a game. We mentioned that John White had his best in 19 against the Argos. Again, all the changes on their D-line, linebacking core, and secondary. I mean, there's not been a group in this Argo defense that has been consistent for even 3 games in a row this year. Tough to get any continuity and understand how to play with the guy beside you when you're making that many changes.
Danny O'Brien in 2nd and 1, and look at that push. And a fresh set of downs for BC.
Hey, Monster Big!
We have Abdul Kenna, Mike, and he's played in game one. He was the will linebacker like he is tonight, but he's played left halfback. He's played field halfback on the right side. He has played pretty much all the spots in the secondary and linebacker. And again, a veteran CFL player, but you want to play with your group consistently, game in and game out, to get some continuity, and they just haven't been able to do it.
First down, 3 receivers to the near side. Dump it off underneath, and it's White again, down to the 20. Tackled on the play by Eric Stryker, who gets his first start in the weak side linebacker spot.
Again, the team that loses this game tonight is out.
Monster Big!
There is still hope for both these teams to try and catch Edmonton.
Let's go right here. Hey, let's go mug one.
But they lose tonight. Whichever team does, they're out.
Yeah, they pushed it back on that one. Huh?
O'Brien again in on 2nd and short. And again, sneak with authority for the first down. Huge opening quarter for the Lions. A couple of costly Argo turnovers. 17-0 after 1.
This program may contain coarse language that could offend some viewers. Discretion is advised.
6th time this year, the Argos have been held without a point in the opening quarter. That's the biggest first quarter of the season for the BC Lions.
Yeah, but for the Argos, not acceptable. Not acceptable at this level. Worst quarter I've seen a pro football team play in a long, long time. Maybe as long as I've been covering the Canadian Football League. They weren't ready, they weren't focused, and the BC Lions took advantage of it.
Couple of turnovers lead to a couple of touchdowns.
Absolutely. I mean, the Argos have run 4 plays offensively, and 2 of them were turnovers that BC took advantage of. I mean, you're fighting for your playoff life. It is not acceptable to have that kind of quarter and be sleeping out of the gate.
Where's the back?
Average start for the Lions in that first quarter was the Argo 49. John White got a hole, and White is inside the 10 and close to another first down. This could turn out to be a monster night for John White, who's already well over 60 yards rushing.
Well, you keep with it. I mean, keep grinding it out just like this. If the Argos are not going to stop the run on first down, and you could just pick up 7 to 10 a crack, yeah, stick with it.
8 for 63. Just dialing back, we did do a game this year where Ottawa threw interceptions on their first 3 possessions, but I think they ran more plays than 4 in the first quarter.
Yeah, just that this Argo team just haven't been ready. I mean, they were sleepwalking in that first quarter. Let's see if they get a little fight in the dog as this game goes on. But if they're gonna, they better start right now, backed up against their own goalpost.
Here we go. Jack's left, 361, ZNX Dragon, our sit, Alpha, ready?
Becomes about professional pride more than anything.
Not to mention jobs.
Oh, for sure.
Wayne Moore's checked into the offense.
380. 380.
First and goal. Riley with pressure, and incomplete. Lamar Durant couldn't hang on.
Well, there you go, a little pass rush off the edge. Jermaine Gabriel, he dug down. I looked like Alden Dar. They were coming off the corner here. Gabriel, number 5. I saw Kenna. And stayed away from late hit on the quarterback.
Not sure if Darby got a hand on that. Incomplete to an injured Argo defensive lineman. That's Justin Thomas. Now while they work on him, we'll step aside early in this second quarter with the Lions threatening to add to that 17-0 lead. Friday Night Football continues next week. A couple of matchups. First, all Ontario. It will be the Red Blacks and the Argos. And then, how about this one? Best in the West. They go head-to-head. Saskatchewan and the Stampeders in Calgary. Action gets underway in the doubleheader at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific only on TSN. That a showdown for first after a big Rough Rider win over the Blue Bombers earlier this evening.
Hey, kill! Alpha, sit hot. 380, hot.
Quarterback option, and Riley dropped by Stryker.
Argos loaded the line of scrimmage there. They were going to either get after Riley if he threw it or take away every single run lane. I know John White was hoping for a pitch there. Would he have had something on that option? John White going outside. Well, he had a defensive end in Keenan Gilchrist trying to track him down.
So another chip shot field goal attempt for Castillo. This one from 12. Up and through, 20-0 for the Lions. Let's head down to the sidelines. Here's Farhan Lalji.
Chris, the Lions have had plenty of reason to dance today, and perhaps it's because they are practicing for the encore of their dance party that they had in practice earlier this week. Now, it all started pretty organically and harmlessly. Rich Stubler was trying to teach the defense something, but he was focused on the D-line. The DBs got bored. The field side DBs started dancing, so the boundary side started dancing. Brandon Rudley started dancing. Devon Claybrook said, okay, wait until after practice, where he threw it open. They had a contest. The D had more participants, but Shaq Johnson led the offense to a victory. And I'll say this for Devon Claybrook. Through all the tribulations and problems this team has had, the number of games lost, he's kept the team together. He's done a great job of team building. They've gone bowling before the Ottawa game. He made sure that he had his mom over, and his mom cooked for the entire team. So while they've lost a lot of games, he has not lost the room.
The dancing's way better when you've won 3 in a row.
Yeah, exactly. You sleep better at night. You practice differently. It validates what you've been trying to build, and that's what Devon Claybrook's trying to build, that chemistry in the room and that right culture in the room, and they're getting there. Even though 2 of the wins were against the struggling Ottawa Red Black team. Win's a win, and they've got 3 in a row going.
Argos looking for a first down, handed off to Wilder, who was met behind the line of scrimmage, but powered his way forward and is going to be close. Going to be 3rd down, but they're going to go for it. Armani Edwards to the sidelines and Rodney Smith in.
They call it their heavy set.
Lions have 11 first downs. Argos looking for their first. From the 44, need the 45. Flags down, and he didn't get there.
I don't think so.
Didn't get there. Did the Lions line up offside with flags flying?
Yeah, he over the ball.
Offside. BC line. 5-yard penalty. First down. Toronto.
How do you call that? Because they were over the line. They were over the line. Their heads cannot be over the ball. Their head was over the ball. That's going to be a teach tape right there. I'm going to send that one in on you.
Coach disagrees with the call. Franklin over the middle, wants SJ Green incomplete. TJ Lee on the scene for BC.
I mentioned off the top that this is the 4th start of the season for James Franklin. The first to start the regular season for the Argos. He's looking for his first win, and between he and McLeod Bethel-Thompson, these 2 quarterbacks, one of them's got to try and take this job. Thinking about next year more than anything, but James Franklin's getting his 4th opportunity to take this job and take the reins.
Draw play. Wilder's got something. He's into BC territory as Toronto advances for the first time onto the BC side of the field.
Nice looking run here, well blocked as 2 pulling O linemen just wash it out to the left and let James Wilder go back against the grain, get into that secondary.
13-yard run for Wilder. Argos do have the 2nd best passing totals in the league coming into the week. Here's Wilder again. This time, stop. Does surge ahead at the end for a couple, but there are flags down again. It's like a holding call against Toronto. Had a good discussion there with Devon Claybrooks on the offside. Let's take one more look to see if...
Holding Toronto, number 59. That's a 10-yard penalty, remaining
Looks
first
okay
down.
there, doesn't it? I mean, nobody's hanging within there. I think he had a case.
I do too, and we've seen that type of penalty flag too much this year, to be honest. If there's not somebody clearly offside,
Watch this play!
it doesn't.
Watch this play!
You're trying to talk about an inch or something like that. I think we just leave our flags in the pocket.
Sometime if the helmet is hanging within that yard, you're clearly not there.
Well over, yeah.
First down, they're going to air it out here, and almost intercepted by Gary Peters. First time they've tried to dial up Darrell Walker tonight.
Not a bad idea, just 5 yards away from a 1,000-yard season for the explosive Darrell Walker. Again, like Brian Burnham, in a real tough season for the team. Walker, when targeted, and he's been targeted over 100 times this year, has been doing his thing.
Played over 20 minutes. The Argos do not have a completion yet. 2nd and 20. There's the first. Gets there for Jimmy Ralph and bounce forward for a few more, but going to be short of the first down after that pickup of about 14.
Count them up.
Tyler Crapina coming on to attempt a field goal. Good second effort there by Ralph to make this a possibility from 51 yards out.
51-yard field goal is Crapina.
Would be his longest of the year. 19 to 21. And that one is going to be short. Brought out by Langford. And Ryan Langford up to the 29-yard line. So Crapina comes up short. It remains 20-0 BC. Suits, you were here last week.
Surprise when you think back to, and you look at his season. I mean, he's going head-to-head with Brandon Banks to see football to play here tonight to see if he can pass him. And, you know, 88.8 coming into this weekend. Leads the league in the clutch second down conversion catches.
Corner spot cuts him down 3-on-3. And the Argo defender makes the play.
And if you're just kind of catching up the last couple of years with Brian Burnham and saying a lot of adversity throughout his time at Tulsa. When he was a freshman, he had an infection. He lost part of his freshman year. In his senior year, he had a knee issue that ended his senior year. Second start, a ruptured spleen that he had to recover from back a couple of years ago.
Flag comes down. That one gunned in. It's complete. And Deron Carter has his second catch. Kadarius Ford is
in some way or another faced adversity to get where they got, but
100 water, boys. 100.
He's faced a lot of adversity. He's put in the time. Let's take a look at this catch from Deron Carter as Burnham takes coverage inside and holds a couple of guys from the Argos defense. open up his teammate on the outside to him.
In the win against the Alouettes.
97-17. Gotta go.
Speaking of the Alouettes, that was some game today.
Yeah.
Montreal. Barry Jones' team keep making noise. John White up over the 50 to the 51, and that's 6 more for White. Maybe 7. See where they spot it. That's up to 70 yards now in this first half on the ground.
Here we go. Come on, let's go.
Oh, by the way, on Brian Burnham,
gotta get
also
3,
tied with Darrell Walker
Gold
for
left,
explosion
flip.
plays.
93, R Stone, W Hack, Alpha, ready?
30-plus yard plays.
30.
That kind of year.
Got it covered, 2nd and 3, and John White continues to run with abandon. 10th carry, another first down for White.
Makes a miss in the hole.
You know, and I'll just show you again, like, there's a lot of stuff that good players do that you don't see in the,
Set the huddle. Let's go.
you know, on Twitter or in the stats at the end of the game. But look at this guy, number 16.
Doubles left tight.
What he does for his teammate. Get in there, cut off the edge. Take the defensive end down in Gilchrist and give your tailback a chance.
8 first down on the ground for BC in the first half. Fake to White, looking for Durant, just out of his reach. Top Canadian receiver Lamar Durant, 10th in the league coming into this game. Overall, 809 yards.
This pace, he should get to that magic 1,000-yard mark, just over it. Pace for 1,040 yards on the year.
Beta, ready?
I think you're looking at the nominee for BC for Outstanding Canadian for sure. His best season.
Beta. Behind. Blue 80. Blue 80.
2nd and 10. Burnham working against Covington. Got a step on him. Brian Burnham's got it again. There's another one of those explosion plays as they isolate him on Anthony Covington.
Well, he's trying to beat press, so he nonchalantly walks in as if it's going to be a running play, something like that. And on the snap of the ball, he just takes off and widens, uses the entire width of the field to open up. And that's where he gets the separation from Covington. And then solid hands securing the football.
38-yard catch, back in the lead in receiving is Brian Burnham.
Gotta go. Stay like that.
And a yard away from his 6th 100-yard game of the year. Pressure coming from Stryker. Riley got away. Underneath, it's Carter down to the 5. Bumped out by Covington.
I mentioned that the team that loses tonight is out of the playoff hunt. I mean, the team that wins tonight, it's still a huge mountain to climb to try and catch Edmonton for that last spot.
All the Lions really care about right now, though, is setting up a showdown with Edmonton next week to help keep it alive.
Absolutely, try and keep controlling that hope that they can keep in the hunt.
Can they take that hope into the final 2 weeks? Here's White. And nothing doing. Ian Wild stepped up.
You got to get more. He stretched that ball.
13 tackles the last time.
It's more than that.
Ian Wild faced BC.
Monster big.
Bear Woods back on the 6th game after playing 3 and having 25 tackles, so Wild moves back into the middle. 3rd and short. And Danny O'Brien back in. Used to be Mike Riley, wouldn't be going anywhere, but he's taken enough punishment this year. And O'Brien's going to handle this. Five possessions for BC. Been in the red zone 4 times. Flag comes down. And O'Brien down to about the 1. Offside, Argo's the indication.
How the hell
Who's offside?
Offside. Toronto. That penalty is declined. First down, BC. 3-minute warning. Timeout.
So we've hit the 3-minute warning. The Lions in charge and ready to expand that lead. We might need a little refresher on what offside is. There's the last call against the Argos.
Yeah, I just I mean, both the offside calls really didn't change this game in any way. I mean, 5 yards both times. That was going to be a first down anyway. But man, wow, they are being particular about that neutral zone tonight.
Brian stays in, plunges ahead. Is he in? Going to be second and goal. Mike Riley wants a piece of this action.
Hey, I don't know if you heard that, but on the sideline, Mike Riley said, Danny better get his butt in there,
or else I'm coming back. He used to tell C.J. Gable, don't stop at the 2, because if you do, I'm taking it in, and he always did in Edmonton. See if he does this time. Second effort, lunges in. Touchdown BC. Touchdown Danny O'Brien.
You know, I know Mike Riley's been fighting that cold we talked about. He's had some back issues and fought through it all. But in general, I like when the backup quarterback comes in on short yardage. I think, first of all, it takes 2 or 3 hits away from your quarterback on every one of those short yardage situations. Second, it keeps your backup quarterback wired and focused on the game every single snap. He can't just put his baseball hat on and start charting plays and not really keep focus. Keeps him involved in the offense, both in practice and in the game. I'm a fan of the backup coming in on short yardage.
And the starter came out to congratulate him. That's his first CFL touchdown in 6 years. Mike Riley, by the way, has 52 of them. Gone for good. And the Lions have put 27 on the board here with still just over 2 minutes left in the first half. Well, Mike Riley was giving Danny O'Brien a little bit of the business when he didn't get in the first time, but O'Brien punches it in for his first CFL touchdown.
Well, if we see this continue, we may see Danny O'Brien come in and actually take some offensive snaps in the fourth quarter.
Could be some valuable reps for him. Brady tosses it, look out! And it's loose and it's picked up. Jamal Lyles to the goal line, and they're going to rule him down at the 1. There are flags, but everything going wrong for the good ship Argo.
The flags are against Toronto for interference.
Yep. Gittens tackled one of those defenders chasing after the loose ball. And the local product, Jamel Lyles, was there to pounce on it.
Interference on a loose ball. Toronto. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
It was TJ Lee that broke up this little toss back.
Danny O'Brien gets a chance at number 2.
Boy, this has just gone from bad early to worse for the double blue. And it will be O'Brien again. Mike Riley cheering again from the sidelines and may take a second sneak. Eric Stryker came away with the football, but play was dead and things heating up. Davon Coleman, the former Lion, Jermaine Gabriel in a lather.
Well, I've never been, a guy who says that this is what you need to do when you're down and you're getting frustrated. You need to get up swinging and fighting. But a little sign of life from the double blue. I mean, there's been very little compete.
And it's take two for number 2. Needed a couple of tries the last time, and right back down there to on the left side. O'Brien Zian breaks the plane. It's a BC touchdown.
Well, it's way too early right now, but I would say that Danny O'Brien should probably warm up that throwing arm.
And it's getting late very early for Corey Chamberlain's crew.
Well, I think the speech at halftime for Corey Chamberlain is very simple. It's you go in and say, guys, seriously, jobs are on the line. And if I don't see some
After the
fighting,
play, objectional conduct, BC, number 58. 10-yard penalty be applied on the kickoff.
Justin Renfro flagged at the end of that.
Yeah, I think Chamberlain just says to his team, if I don't see some fight in the dog coming out in the second half, I don't care what the score is, doesn't really matter what it finishes, just go out there and compete, and we're going to write down the numbers who quit and the numbers who don't.
21 points of turnovers now for BC tonight. Came in with only 49 on the season. Danny O'Brien's got a pair of touchdowns, and the route is on here at BC Place.
Well, with rushing touchdowns, he's being mentored by Mike Riley. So Mike Riley, let's see the totals now. Mike Riley, 52 rushing touchdowns. Danny O'Brien, 2. So he's starting to school him. You hear him coaching him up from the sideline, even though he probably can't hear him. He's saying, get in there now.
I think you're right. We're likely to see it maybe a full quarter. Could you even see Danny O'Brien for the entire second half? Especially considering that,
yeah, exactly.
As you said, Mike's not been feeling great for a few weeks, and we know what the beating he took earlier this year. Been much better protected of late. In fact, that offensive line's only allowed 5 sacks in the last 4 games. 43 in the first 10. There's Kelly Bates.
This is when they have already started to fold the tents. So what's going to happen? We're going to start chasing.
Keeping them in there. Don't start celebrating at halftime. Keeping their focus.
No, it's Reedy, and we won't see a reverse this time. But he does slip and gets nailed just across the 30-yard line. You knew he wanted to be good in his return to BC Place, but been that kind of night for all the Argos. So Toronto, 52 net yards here in the first half. 2 first downs, 1 by penalty.
Monday!
3-man rush, they drop 9. And a catch made for Darrell Walker, his first of the night.
Well, that's what you want.
That catch, he goes over 1,000 yards.
Yeah, there you go. And again, it's individual players are going to be still, when they break down the film for the Argos, they're going to say, Darrell Walker ran his routes. He did what he was supposed to do.
Third 1,000-yard season for Walker. 5th in the league in receiving coming into the week. Pressure on. Franklin with a flag. Declan Cross the catch. But that's going to be a loss. TJ Lee with the tackle.
Be holding on the line of scrimmage against the Argos.
Argos have the most holding calls in the league this year on offense.
Ranger, outright, wide. B-bang, sorry. B-bang, B-bang.
Terrell Walker over 1,000.
Outright.
Holding. Toronto, number 67. That penalty is declined. Second down.
Jamal Campbell, the right tackle with the hold.
He's now second in that category.
Burnham has his 11th tonight. Well, they have weapons, and again, came into the game second in the league. They average over 300 yards passing a game. Most of that with McLeod Bethel Thompson. Underneath it goes to Rainey. Bumped out at the Argo bench. It will be 3rd and long.
You know, and I'm not picking on Chris Rainey on this particular play, but the Argos, what they need is a guy to turn his pads towards the defenders and go and break a couple of tackles and give that second effort and not just run out of bounds. I'm not saying they're going to score on that play, but someone's got to inspire the rest of the teammates to pick it up a notch.
Effort to punt. Langford backs up to his 12. And downfield cover there by Onyeka.
It could be a special teams play. That was a nice cover by Onyeka. Get down there in a hurry. And
10th special team tackle for Nakas Onyeka on the season. So 38 seconds remaining for Mike Riley here in this first half.
All right.
I guess this will be a little John White time and grind down the rest of this half. Going with a massive lead. And the opponent with the donut on the other side.
Here we go, here we go. All right, spread right, 42 brick. Alpha, alpha, ready?
Time of possession in this first half, 21:46 for BC. Argos have had the ball for 7:36.
380. 380.
It is John White time. Has 4 more.
Yeah, and he just, like, even on that play there, Chris, again, you know, they're just killing the clock. But the D-line for the Argos on that play were catching. They just caught their old lineman. They didn't fire off the ball and go try and explode the play and create havoc. Be a fly on the wall in that room at halftime.
42. Alpha. Sit hot. 380. 380 hot.
John White's got 80 yards, got the ball, 2nd and 6. And a good tackle by Ian Wild, who always signs his painting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and he could be the guy that inspires, just through hustle and second effort. You know, fighting off some blocks, telling the guys in the huddle, like, one play at a time, don't worry about the score, don't even look at it, just be proud of the effort, so that when you're watching the film in the second half tomorrow on the rundown, you could at least say, hey, number 44 was getting it done. He was hustling around.
Now we're just running.
5 tackles first half.
What's he doing?
Timeout, Toronto.
I think somebody called a timeout on the Argos, and nobody seems to know why.
Monster big. Monster big. Excellent victory. Take a knee on the hustle, on the hustle. Ready?
So we prolong the
On the hustle, Phil. Here we go. Rehearse it up.
first half's done. All BC. Lions have 17 first downs, the Argos 3. It's 34-0 at the half. Let's find out what the guys have to say. Here's Rod Smith.
Oh, there could be lots to say, CC. Thank you as we welcome you to Ram at the Half. Brought to you by the all-new Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year. Another winning season for Ram. It has not been another winning season for the Toronto Argonauts. Back inside the studio with Henry Burris and Mike Benavides and Milt Stiegel, and not for the BC Lions either, but boy, I mean, full measure to BC. I'm going to say something positive here now because I don't want to be negative all the time.
Oh.
Only one team in the CFL has won a Grey Cup since the Argos last won it. So there's my positive statement. I'm doing my best here. This is the most embarrassing night in an embarrassing season for the Argos, who are trying to bounce back after an embarrassing season since they won the Grey Cup.
I've been involved with the CFL since 1995, and I've been on some bad teams. But that right there, I think that was the worst half of football I ever seen in my life. That was some bad football by those Toronto Argonauts. It's interesting to see what Corey Chamberlain's going to say to these players at halftime. And it's also interesting to see how these players react when they come out after halftime. Will they really just shut it down, or will they have some pride? I don't even know what to say. It's good I don't curse, because if I curse, it'd be pretty bad.
Well, I curse, but I can't right now, because right now I can't tell you how upset.
Well, it's a live mic game. If we do the 7-second delay, but you
actually, there was a screen there that said, fans, whatever.
That's
but
right.
when I take a look at it, I mean, Corey wasn't the one that, went with the reverse and put it on the ground, or threw the ball that got tipped, or any of that other mess, or missed a tackle. This is an organization that they won a Grey Cup at 9-9. But in the last 2 years, they've won 7 football games in 2 seasons. So you tell me it's Mark, you're telling me it's Corey? It's a lot deeper than that. So right now, it's just really frustrating to watch. But when you take a look at it, there's a tip. Inept. Okay, it happens. There's bad luck all over the place. And the short field position they got to defend, right now, it's 34-0. There's nothing going right for them. They're not getting anything done. And we're trying to get yardage here for charity. We're putting it on the ground. So there's some bad things occurring, and I just don't know where they go from there.
That's the big problem. I mean, where do they go? And, I mean, we talk about moving forward. What are the decisions that you make? This is a hard situation for coaches to be able to manage. And I feel bad for even some of these players, but somebody's got to step up and do something, guys, because right now when you talk about in sports, you look for a glimmer of hope. Vancouver to play tonight, honestly.
BC Lions are 34-0.
Yeah.
They're staying alive. They're going to be in the playoffs.
I was going to say, a glimmer of hope. At least BC might have a little bit. They still need a lot of help. But for next week, they play the Eskimos in Edmonton. So, I mean, it looks like they have this thing.
Talking about next week already.
Well, you know what? It's 34-0. So, we're talking about when we come back, the top Canadians so far in the CFL in 2019 with the 7-11 player rankings. We'll be back.
No lead is safe, right?
Quick hitter over the middle. It's caught. Stretching. Brian Burnham. Touchdown. Sets up. Taking a shot. Looking for Burnham. Oh, what a catch. Lions now have 111 points in the last 10 quarters.
And now, once again, thanks to the selections of CFL on TSN producer Slurpee Boy, we present the 7-11 player rankings looking at the top 7 most outstanding Canadian candidates of 2019. And he has Andrew Harris at the top, followed by Lamar Durant of the Lions and Corey Greenwood, who's been injured the last couple of games, Enoch Mwamba, Kwaku Boateng of the Eskimos, Chris Van Zyl of the Ticats, and his teammate Tunde Adeleke. All right, Benny, the rule is you can switch the order, or if you're going to add a name that's not on that list, you got to take one off.
Okay, I could do that. Slurpee Boy, don't know what you're drinking, but we are going to do this. 2 things. First thing, Slurpees, yeah, sure. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move Kwaku Earthquake Boateng up. He got to move up a couple of spots. But the other thing I'm going to do is, I'm sorry, Tunde, I'm taking you off.
Ooh.
But I'm going to put the former Santa Monica College and Surrey Ram, Sean White.
Yeah,
the dude is money.
Yeah, nice.
He's got over 150 points himself. He is money with 89%. If I'm putting one guy up there, Whitey is getting on that
You're
board.
showing some love to your old players.
He's got the points. It's proof. 150 over top.
I'm with you on that one. I'm taking, you know what? I'm taking Corey Greenwood off, and I'm taking him off Not because he's been balling, but he's missed the last 2 games and he's on 6 games. So I'm taking him off. I'm putting Sean White on there. I'm moving Enoch Mwamba up to number 2 and moving everyone else down. I'm also moving Chris Van Zyl up to 4 and move everyone else down because those guys have been balling.
Yep. Now, I'm going to shock you guys with this one. I'm putting Chris Van Zyl up top, number 1.
Wow.
Number 1, guys.
Showing some love for the O-line.
Number one. You know why? Because look at the way Hamilton's playing.
Yes.
And it's all
He's
because
killing
they've
it.
been physical. They only gave up 1 sack to that Winnipeg defensive line last week, led by Chris Van Zyl and Riker Matthews. But Chris Van Zyl, guys, what did he go to the Fountain of Youth? He's been killing it this year. But him, Enoch Mwamba, Kwaku Boateng are my top 3 right now. Because for me, ever since week 15, second half against Montreal, what's happening?
No. I want you.
What has happened? They need to give him the ball more because right now he's been non-existent.
If the season ends right now, and this is not a rhetorical question, is Andrew Harris the top Canadian?
No.
He's not the top Canadian.
For me, it's Chris Van Zyl.
Okay.
And then I could say Andrew Harris is number 2.
Okay.
But right now, to me, Chris Van Zyl has been giving it, guys. And he's only getting better
By the
stretch.
way, on that list, 4 of the 7 defensive players. Last defensive player to win top Canadian,
Brent Johnson.
He won it twice. One more recent with another guy you coached.
Big Hill.
10 years ago. 10 years ago.
I think it's Big Hill.
Defensive end.
I don't have it.
Defensive end.
Ricky Foley.
Ricky Foley. It is. I knew the coach would get it. The 7-11 player rankings.
I said Big Hill. Sorry about that.
BC Lions leading big, back with the numbers, and they're ugly for Toronto. Back in the game, the new album from Chad Brownlee. Listen now on Apple Music. A reminder, Richard Higginbottom at Chilliwack, your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff's return for a TD, you could win a $10,000 home theater package. If it happens twice, you could win $1 million. So we say again, with a half to go, good luck, Richard. Good luck, Argos, getting back in this game. It is ugly. 34-0 BC. And the net yardage, 255 to 66. Good night for Brian Burnham, standing by with Farhan Lalji.
With Brian Burnham, and Brian, this team has had a tough time in the first quarter all season. Could you have imagined a better first quarter than that?
I don't think so. I mean, we came out firing on all cylinders, offense, defense, special teams. So that's something to be happy about going into the half. But 30 minutes left, so we got to keep it going.
And I know that Mike seemed to make you a real priority. 99 catches already. You're already back atop the league's receiving yardage list. What about your first half personally?
It feels good to, come out and start fast like that. But like I said, keep it going. There's no reason to stop now.
All right, last thing. Were you in or were you not?
Oh, I was in. Come on.
Have a good second half. Thanks.
We kept looking back on that Burnham touchdown, called a touchdown, and it was awfully close. At first, didn't think so, but upon further review, that one definitely counts. And the Lions aren't hurting for points. They're up 34 with the second half still to come. The halftime show brought to you by the new Ram Heavy Duty, the most capable heavy-duty pickup ever. Always ready for the second half.
This program may contain coarse language that could offend some viewers. Discretion is advised.
James, first of all, at 34-0, we appreciate you doing this, but just how do you describe what happened in that first half?
Definitely didn't have some things go our way, but the biggest thing is we need to try and do a good job of instilling belief in each other. It starts with me at the quarterback, just with the receivers, the O-line, and the offense, and we can help out the defense too, just instilling that belief if we have that success and put some points up. So obviously a lot of things that we didn't like in the first half, but we'll try and change that in the second half and come back and win.
4 completions in that half. What can you do to get it going on that side of it?
Get some more completions.
Last thing I'll ask you is, what was the message from the coach at halftime?
Not to give up. I mean, it's easy to feel like down and out and just how the season's been going, but not to worry about that, to come out and have some dignity and try and put some points on the board as an offense, and as a defense, try and stop them.
Thanks for this.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So you appeal to their dignity to get better in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if they win the second half. They get the ball first, and it's Chris Rainey with the return up to the 40-yard line. Brought down by Adam Konar. Sticking with James Franklin.
Yeah, and what I liked about what he said there to Farhan was, it starts with me. And, that one, that was unlucky. from Franklin's perspective, but it didn't get much better after that. You saw the numbers. And now let's see how they come out fighting.
S.J. Green without a catch, and whistle blows as he gets wrapped up. David Menard is there. And a holding call against Toronto.
Holding Toronto, number 57. That penalty is declined. Second down.
So sack for Menard, his second of the year. First sack of the game. Argos have surrendered 6 sacks in each of the last 2 starts. Second down and long. And Wilder makes a good catch. And breaks a tackle.
There you go.
Now that flag comes down at the end of that.
Now that's not a first down unless this is against the BC Lions, but that's the type of effort that I'm talking about, that James Wilder just showed you right there. He didn't run out of bounds. He had that little swing pass well short. When he caught the ball, he was well short of first down marker. But he stayed in bounds, he kept battling, kept fighting. There you go.
Illegal participation. BC, number 4, went out of bounds and came back in. It's a 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
And because of the second effort, extension with the penalty, player stepped out of bounds, and Gary Peters comes back in. Can't play anymore after that. They get the first down.
Wilder went for 14, but they take the penalty and get the second down over.
DL lock. We got lead. Friday!
Grimes on the halfback blitz, and down he goes. Jonathan Newsom's got a sack. And the Lions have a pair of sacks in this opening possession of the second half.
Yeah, I thought that blitz from Aaron Grimes disguise it too long, but he does end up flushing James Franklin up into the pocket, and that's where Newsom is waiting for him.
Because of the turnovers, just 2 punts for Pepper in the first half. Langford awaiting at the BC 31. "43-yard punt. Langford pumped out at the 35-yard line. Good start for the Lions defense in the second half. First Menard, and then Jonathan Newsom taking Franklin to the turf. Good first half for Mike Riley. Good first half for everybody, in particular Brian Burnham.
Riley was 11 of 16, 146, a couple of touchdowns. One spectacular catch by Burnham. And Riley was given outstanding field position, especially in the first quarter, because of a couple of Argo turnovers.
Big first half for John White, and he starts the second half with a good authoritative run. Up to about 90 yards now.
5-art. Here we go.
Make it 89, 2nd and 5.
All right, quads left, rip, 61Z, Chico switch, Lincoln, R escape, X Omaha, Alpha, ready?
Quads left is 4 receivers to the wide side of the field, or to the left side of the formation.
380, hop.
2nd and 5. Got a strike, got his favorite target. Brian Burnham's over 100 for the 6th time this year.
Lamar, your escape.
Yours finding the soft spot in the zone there. We've seen him beat man, we've seen him beat zone.
Give me time up front, boys. Run your ass off outside. Weak right, 61, X go for go. Z Oakland, S burst. Alpha, ready?
He wants time. Is he going to go deep here?
Here we go.
Got Deron Carter down at the boundary.
Go ahead.
That's a protection. But Aaron, let's burn again. And incomplete. Step for step was Tremaine Washington.
Washington, this time, he makes him go outside release. Remember when he let him down on the goal line, go inside him? And he times that knockdown to come up through the hands of Brian Burnham.
Okay, here we go. Gold right Czar.
See, I got his right hand in there to knock it out of there.
S burst. Alpha, alpha, ready?
Well played by Tremaine Washington.
Gold. Dagger.
Of his 12 completions, 6 have gone to Burnham, 3 to Carter. 3 more to the backs, White and Villamazar. 2nd and 10. Here comes heat. Eric Stryker burst and finished off there for Cleon Lang, who has his 6th sack of the year, 2nd against BC.
Well, Corey Chamberlain's getting effort out of a couple of guys. We saw James Wilder on that run try and break 3-4 tackles. Now we're seeing Cleon Lang, the veteran, working against his men, getting up the field. And
illegal contact on the receiver. Toronto, number 14. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down, BC.
Abdul Kenna.
I believe Kenna's, is he working against, he's right here. Working at
Jack, alpha, alpha, ready? 99.
Looks like that was within 5 yards, but he chased him to go make contact. You can defend your ground and make that jam inside of 5 yards.
1st and 10, back to White. Right side. He's run hard all night. Down to the 42-yard line, 7 more for John White.
By the way, after that call on Abdul Kenna, we have him mic'd, of course, but there's that on-off switch.
Oh, you've got that delay.
The delay, yeah. So
team.
after that penalty, you can imagine the off switch was hit when he went to talk to the ref. Didn't agree with the call.
Here we go, fib.
But you can't go out of your
Jack's
frame
right,
to go
43
make
base,
contact
W
on a
stone,
crossing
wide
route,
looking.
even if it's
Mark
inside
quick,
of 5
smoke.
yards.
Alpha, alpha, ready? Hey, 390. 390.
2nd and 3. Fake to White. To the outside. Wayne Moore a catch and another Lion first down. McMaster product. The 5th different receiver for Mike Riley tonight.
One of the reasons you put your fullback at the wide open position offensively is to see what the defense does to cover him. So if they don't take a linebacker out there to cover more, then Mike Riley knows it's zone, and that should be the dead part in the zone.
Alpha, alpha, ready? Give me enough space, Ron. You're leading to the right. Gotta go. Alpha. The hunt. 390. 390 hunt.
That'll be Carter on the jet. And he gets struck out. Striker in the area again and pushed out by Covington, I believe. Yep.
Huddle it. Damn. She had a fake toss.
Eric Stryker.
The guy over there. Here we go. Hey, we're beta. Quads left Soar, 80, X Squire Robin, Z Dodger, R Streak, beta, ready? Beta. Squire. Soar to a, you're soaring to a Robin. Beta,
Hey, 41.
Go ahead.
Hey, 41.
Go empty on 2nd and 12. Guns it over the middle, and it's complete. Carter's got the catch, and another first down. Ron Carter's got 5 receptions on the night. A little bit of
top of the route, Deron Carter comes back just a little bit right inside there to shield the defender from the football.
Just his 4th game of
98
at least 50 yards receiving this year. Hasn't had a 30-yarder since week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought when they signed him, there'd be a lot of big plays from Mike Riley.
A few of late, not the 30-plus, but
Striker, the Oklahoma product, who actually did some defensive recruiting for his school, and makes the stop there.
yeah, a better effort so far from the Argos.
Little fight in the dog.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Striker made a couple of plays there in this series, but
Copper left 60. WW.
That's the dilemma right there from the head coach. 10th play of the drive. And it's into the end zone. Touchdown. What a catch. Shaq Johnson.
and be closer to Mike Riley and just see if he got targeted a little bit more, if they could utilize his speed to open up some underneath areas for the rest of the receiving core. Because this guy can flat out fly now. I mean, Shaq Johnson in his pro day or his combine day ran a 4.39 40. Now, I mean, 4.5 used to be good. 4.39 is world class. I mean, the 5-year NFL combine report, the average for DBs and receivers was 4.48, to give you a little perspective on what a 4.39 is.
First target of the night is his first catch and second touchdown of the season. Castillo adds the convert. And the BC Lions have a season-high 41 points. And Shaq Johnson with a little hang time.
Well, a little better effort from the Toronto Argonauts, trying to put up a bit of a fight in this second half, but it didn't matter to Mike Riley. He went 10 plays, 73 yards, took up 6 minutes and 13 seconds in the third quarter, used all his weapons from Toronto.
Kid from Brampton, so that's a nice touchdown again against the Toronto Argonauts, and it's the first 3 touchdown game of the season for Mike Riley. Curly Gittins on the return with flags on the field. We'll sort them out when we come back. Kind of cool, the guy on the right, Shaq Johnson, with the touchdown. On the ensuing kickoff, the man on the left, younger brother Hakeem, with the special teams tackle.
Inspired by his older brother to get down there and make a play after his brother did on the touchdown.
Wonder if that's ever happened in the CFL on back-to-back plays by brothers.
Didn't Farhan say that Shaq Johnson won the dance contest too for them?
Monday. Got some moves, got some speed. Franklin over the middle, Rodney Smith has his first catch of the game up at the 20.
He does have some flat-out speed, and I think there's a real bright future for Shaq Johnson.
Joker, Pro Zoom Crimson Tide. Pro Zoom Crimson Tide. Hey, Chip.
See if they roll here.
Monday.
Crimson Tide.
You know, it really hasn't been James Franklin's necessarily just his fault. I mean, the first half, the Argos were sleepwalking, but they've competed a little harder in the second half. The question is, though, do you make a change at quarterback just to see if you can shake it up?
Pepper sends Langford back inside his 40. See if he can get the edge here. Does turn the corner and then gets cut down out of bounds, which will draw a flag for that hit out of bounds.
These are the people who make Gentleman Jack. Cultured, refined. Just kidding. They're the same folks who make Old Number 7. They simply take the time to mellow it twice. Gentleman Jack, from the makers of Jack Daniels.
Twitch, what is it? Twitch is everything. It's also nothing.
Is it a religion?
Not yet, but we're working on it. Here's what I know. There's a lot of people on there doing stuff together. Gamers. Happy little painters. Chess masters. Ammunition. Mechanics. Juju's here doing this and some of that. And you're doing it with them. So if you enjoy things like Fortnite, live sheep farming, speed cubing, and finding other folks into said stuff, you're already one of us. Twitch logo.
Argonauts game against Ottawa at home. There's James Wilder. And he was hoping for a big game for more than one reason. With more on that, here's Farhan.
Yeah, as far as Wilder is concerned, it's been an interesting season for him, but now it's October, so he's dialed into this initiative that he's been running for the last 3 years called Run Wild for a Cure. Now, it's about raising, not again from around the league. This is his third year doing it. He's got running backs from 8 of 9 teams that have for every touchdown they score. He's even got some buy-in from some NFL running backs, Devonta Freeman and Melvin Gordon, to name a few. And I said to him, if you want to raise some money, you need more than 10 touches, which is his season high in terms of carries. Jacques Chapdelaine walked by at the time and he said, come on, coach, you got to get with this program. We want to raise some money, so give me the ball a little bit more. 22 yards tonight so far for Wilder. He'd like to get a few more so he can donate a bit more to a pretty worthwhile cause.
Yeah, 3 touches tonight, but John White's contributing. 16 for 95 for the Lion running back.
92 Ben, 92 Ben. Alpha. To hut. 380. 380 hut.
Flag against the Argos on that kick return. The late hit out of bounds. So another great field position start for BC. John White. 15 there by Frank Beltray.
Yeah, I read the article. Decided to wear my pink tie tonight because of that.
Here we go. Hey, stay alive on the Rebel dig. You're hot.
$100 if they score and $1 for every yard.
Yeah, deep Cardinals. Gotta go.
And was it just me or was McLeod Bethel Thompson warming up a little more aggressively?
Looks like there was activity in the bullpen for sure.
Yeah.
Over the middle, there's a catch, and it's Simonized with the grab. So there's a new target for Mike Riley tonight, and just the second catch for Rashawn Simonized, Vancouver area product.
Yeah, getting a chance to play with the change and the move to Shaq Johnson to the inside. And
here we go. All right, good timing on this.
Without Javon Coutoy in the lineup. Feels good to be a part of it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
1st and 10.
380.
And it will be Durant on the jet. Takes the toss, gets to the edge, but can't make the turn with Alden Darby there. And Durant on the limb.
Be 2nd and 10.
Well, based on what we've seen, I'm thinking that it looked like he just relaxed before he got out of bounds.
And may have clipped the foot of the referee when he went down. But the way he kind of turned back a little heading out of bounds makes you wonder if he already felt a tweak. Pressure coming. Riley stands in, goes deep, and oh, did you see that? What a remarkable touchdown. Just another day at the office for Brian Burnham.
Come on, post-game scrum, interviews, selfies. He almost makes it look routine, and it's not. This is tremendous concentration. Tips it to himself with coverage all over him. Sticks with it, sticks with it. This time, no question. Inbounds with control.
Third touchdown catch of the night. Play of the night. Making a case for outstanding player in the league.
Well,
that's up for grabs.
Yeah, and I'm saying that, you know, how many times do we see, has there been all that many times where a player has been the MOP on a team that didn't make the playoffs? Now, the Lions still have hope, slim hope, to get to the playoffs, to get to the dance, but Brian Burnham's put on another show tonight. Highlight after highlight. And I think he is making an argument to be a front runner for the MOP.
He's the league leader in receiving, 7 for 139.
This is the best wide receiver in the league. It's not up for discussion. Don't at me. Don't argue with me. Best receiver in the league. Y'all know what's going on. It's coming from the OG. Kawhi Leonard in the
points tonight, which I believe is pretty good.
How do you not take Brian Burnham every week in fantasy every week, isn't he?
Our producer Chris Edwards gloating because he has him tonight. Extracurricular there. Rainey with a push-off. Jamel Lyles. That'll be a flag. And McLeod Bethel Thompson coming in for Toronto.
You know, he put some yards on the board when he was
major foul,
the starting quarterback.
Roughness. Toronto, number 2 after the play. 15 yards, first down.
7 games, and he was 2 games over 400. 7 games over 300. But only got a couple of wins during the run.
Right here.
Here's a guy, though, that's 4th in the league in passing. They, at this point in the year, wanted to evaluate James Franklin, but haven't been able to see too much in 2.5 games. Bethel Thompson throws a strike out of the gate, and Smith has his second catch of the night.
Stage 2 slap. Stage 2 slap. 54, 54, 54. Beat it out, bang, bang over here. Mo.
Leads the league in 300-yard games with 7.
Camera. Hurry, sit out.
Different personality,
Barney!
certainly.
Barney! Hurry, sit.
Boy, that's noticeable, isn't it? Out of the backfield, Wilder gets level. TJ Lee has had a big night, hasn't he? Been all around it.
Ranger. Joker getting left.
An interception, a forced fumble, and his third tackle for the veteran defensive back.
Cover. Leak. 6-4 with leak. Friday! First down.
2nd and 8. Goes over the middle, nearly picked off. Brandon Dozier was there, and he had a better shot than S.J. Green, who has been held without a catch so far tonight.
What do you do if you're the Toronto Argonauts looking at the future? And what happened to James Franklin? It is the mystery of mysteries when it comes to quarterbacks, because you go back to Missouri, an MVP of the Independence Bowl, where he rushed for, in a junior season, almost 1,000 yards, threw for over 3,000. Was the talk of the town in Edmonton when Mike Riley was
Turned out to be Nick Arbuckle. Langford on the return. Tried to cut back and is dropped at the 25-yard line. Ian Wild down there with Alex Charette on the teams. That's the final play of the third quarter. The rout continues here. One of the biggest wins in BC Lion history unfolding.
more inside.
The internet can be wild sometimes. I get terrible stuff on social media, in my DMs.
But the good news is that we can do something about it.
Right now, a movement of young people are stepping up to shred hate and choose kindness.
Help us flag and report hate accounts on Instagram and elsewhere.
Sign up to shred hate, choose kindness with DoSomething.org, ESPN, MLB, and No Bully.
Text SHRED to 38383.
DoSomething.org. Let's do this.
At SportsCenter, our goal is to embrace the latest technology, whatever enhances the viewing experience. Virtual reality, 3D, we want to do that.
Welcome into SportsCenter. I'm Tony Collins. We got a little bit of everything for you today. In the NBA, our insider Adrian Wojnarowski with the very latest happening around the association. Also in baseball, what you need to know on the diamond. We got Buster Ellington Kirchin, and in the NFL, camps are starting. Big night of sports. We got baseball. We got college football.
It's still early. We're in the beta stage.
Are you ready for all the football all the time in a season that never ends? Well, these 6 planes are ready. This grandpa's ready. The fans are ready. The teams are ready. Are you ready?
Right now, a movement of young people are stepping up to shred hate and choose kindness.
Join one of the largest anti-cyberbullying campaigns ever. Text SHRED to 38383.
DoSomething.org. Let's do this.
The NFL lives here.
This program may contain coarse language that could offend some viewers. Discretion is advised.
Biggest win in Lion history was against Shreveport back in '94. They won by 52. They beat the Argos by 47 in 2000. They lead by 48 here.
Well, this is interesting. This fourth quarter to me is about this BC Lion team and have they really turned the corner? And this is the team. They get Edmonton next week. I mean, this game, the Argos are done. I mean, they're out of the playoffs. The quarterback discussion for Toronto will be interesting in the fourth quarter. We can get into that. But I wonder about this BC Lion team. Could they take a run? Now the Edmonton Eskimos just need one win to lock it up.
T, R hack, W edge, alpha alpha, ready?
If you said that 6 or but Edmonton, but the Lions still have to win 2 even if they beat Edmonton next week. But all they care about right now is a playoff-like game against the Eskimos.
Well, yeah, we're looking at it extending this battle, extending for another week. And here's kind of what has to happen. So Edmonton has to lose out. Basically, they got Saskatchewan back-to-back, BC at Edmonton. So I'm going to just do that right now there with a quarter to play. And then let's say BC gets that one. And you go down now to 2 Saskatchewan games for Edmonton and Saskatchewan and Calgary for BC to finish the season. Can we get to 2 weeks to go in the regular season with that last playoff spot still in the balance?
One of the issues there is Saskatchewan, Calgary battling for first.
Exactly.
Now there is a chance that that last game might not matter to Calgary, but likely will. But again, we're getting way ahead of.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I mean,
right now it's about finishing this and being ready for what should be a real neat showdown against Edmonton next week. Because you know the Eskimos are not looking for BC to lose to claim their spot.
And they just need to take care of their business, which is one more win. And they're the crossover team. Now, how long do you keep 13 on the field?
Yeah, even John White, who just goes over 100 yards with that rush. But I'm one of the pencil necks that's good at the woulda, coulda, shouldas. But can you imagine even one more win during the regular season for BC when they were kicking it around early?
Here we go. We got a pib.
Those losses in July have them in this bind right now.
Yeah, and some real close ones. I mean, some where they had a 10-point lead and it disappeared in the last 5 minutes of games. They had their chances for sure.
380, hot.
2nd and 4. Back to White, big hole, first down. John White pads his stats, but
I think their defense turned the corner around mid-August, and they made some changes. Brought in Sean Lemon. That was a big one. I know they're on the bench right now. Brought in Newsom a few weeks later and moved Isaiah Messam down to linebacking core. I think that was an interesting move. He's been sort of a quiet contributor. And same personnel, different O-line coach. Kelly Bates.
380. 380, Hunt.
Lyles in the backfield. Remember him chewing it up against Ottawa late when he had 3 carries for 62. The former West Shore Rebel getting a carry. I'd be sitting John White for the rest of this one after a 20-carry night for 121.
Yeah, you know, I think you can maybe give Burnham a rest, depending on, you can't rest them all. It's just too limited of a roster, but certainly your starting quarterback, especially with the last 2 weeks, him
gotta go.
As banged up as he's been, fighting that
TD game of the season, 19 touchdowns in the year. Going over the middle, got Durant Carter. Eldon Darby there to make the tackle.
You know, Carter's made some plays, not the big 30+ that they brought him in for, but he's made some plays. I mean, he even threw a touchdown out there in Ottawa to Shaq Johnson. Become a bigger part of the offense in the last 3-4 weeks.
Got to mention Eldon Darby during the break went over to Mike Riley to ask about Lamar Durant and was a little concerned about Durant having to leave this game. He's gone to the dressing room and like calling it a foot injury.
Well, Burnham's probably got to play now then.
There's Lyles again. 8th round pick, number 69 in the draft in 2019, but they love his work ethic. A kid that grew up near the Surrey training camp site, and a guy that's relishing a chance to play for the team he grew up cheering for.
Who's my wife, Shaq? Make sure you're ready for edge here. We got just over a yard to get, all right? Spread right, 42 brick, alpha, alpha, ready?
Talking to Shaq Johnson there about edge. I'm guessing that's a block.
380. 380.
Yep. Lyles got the first down. Justin Thomas drags him down, but BC moving the football at will here down to the 30-yard line of Toronto.
Hear that reminder from Mike Riley to Shaq Johnson as they broke the huddle. Not sure if you heard it at home. Sometimes those mics are edited, but Shaq Johnson got a nice block on that last edge play.
R Stone, W hack, alpha, alpha, ready?
Just to the right of your. Abdul Kenna.
7th game the Lions have been over 400 net yards of offense, and Stryker containing Lyles drops him at the 25. So John White's night probably is done. Clock rolling.
Yeah, and I'm sure Devon Claybrooks is saying that he was ready to take Mike Riley out, but he'll let him finish this drive.
Let's go Icky. Toes Icky.
It has been icky tonight. Very much so. Riley looking around. Anybody open? Jump ball. Carter the catch. Touchdown. Brent Boyko was down there. I guess he was eligible, but 89 makes the catch. And they're into the 50s here in Vancouver.
To finish off a long drive that ate up most of this 4th quarter, and Carter puts the right foot down. I think the left foot was on the stripe, but the right foot came down first. Does Jab step it in for the touchdown?
Lions record for touchdown passes is 6, co-held by Dave Dickinson and Joe Kapp. Not sure Mike Riley's going to be in long enough to try and join that party. $55 on the board after the 3rd touchdown of the season for Duron Carter. Lions continue to roll it up.
We're Jack Daniels, the oldest, realest, truest, squarest, hippest, whiskiest whiskey from Lynchburg, Tennessee.
With Advil Liquid Gels, you have fast-acting power over pain. So the whole world looks different. The unbeatable strength and speed of Advil Liquid Gels.
What pain?
It can seem unreachable at first. The bar too high, shoes too big. You'll take leaps of faith and fall on your face, but you'll get up. Hard work is 50 sprints before breakfast and another 50 for breakfast. You'll eat it, breathe it, sleep it. The Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody, so don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
CTV.
Well, Duron Carter's got his 3rd touchdown of the season.
I love y'all. It's a terrible feeling, but I feel good because we're winning, baby.
Lions are going to win their 4th straight. First time they've done that since 2017. Brady's return beyond the 30, where the Argos will go back to work on offense with McLeod Bethel-Thompson.
No matter how you family, it's better in the first ever 8-passenger Hyundai Palisade.
Here's a good Halloween trick. Buy a bunch of Reese's. There you go. Turn off all the lights in your house. Yeah. And then you just don't answer the door. Not sorry, Reese's.
Twitch, what is it? Twitch is everything. It's also nothing.
Is it a religion?
Not yet, but we're working on it. Here's what I know. There's a lot of people on there doing stuff together. Gamers. Happy little painters. Chess masters. Ammunition. Mechanics. Juju's here doing this and some of that. And you're doing it with them.
So if you enjoy things like Fortnite, live sheep farming, speed cubing,
and finding other folks into said stuff, you're already one of us. Twitch logo.
Mr. In Between, Thursday at 10 on FX.
It's Decision Day. 24 teams, 12 matches. It's all or nothing. MLS Decision Day 2019, presented by AT&T. Today on ESPN.
Underground secret lab? I don't know what you're talking about.
Argonauts for the Lion fans to take in tonight. 55-0. The 3 highest scores of the season, all against the Argos. Beaten 64-14 by Hamilton, 48-21 by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 55-0 here tonight. The 4th best total was actually by the Argos, scoring 46 against Ottawa.
Killer, 54, you got Mo, release flat,
No catches yet for S.J. Green, who is still 95 yards away from 10,000. Armani Edwards been shut out here tonight too. Let's see if Bethel Thompson can change that. Throws into the turf, incomplete. And the Argos are stuck on 72 yards of offense on the night.
Yeah, I don't remember a time that I've seen a team so flat. From the get-go.
Good punt by Pepper. Langford back inside his 25. And he finds a crease and gets up to the 39-yard line.
No matter how you family, it's better in the first ever 8-passenger Hyundai Palisade.
It's Mattress Firm's Save Big Sale. Save up to $400 on our best mattresses. Plus, get 0% APR for 6 years, 0 down, and 0 due at signing. It's as easy as sign, save, and sleep. Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
Telluride. Built to make each trip a story. Tales worthy of becoming fine, leather-bound books. And because of the available 6 built-in USB charging ports, none of those books will begin. Chapter 1. Today, our phones all died.
Are you ready for all the football, all the time, in a season that never ends? Well, these 6 planes are ready. This grandpa's ready. The fans are ready. The teams are ready. Are you ready?
Royale products.
It's like Mike Riley's night is done. Pretty good work, including 5 touchdown passes. Here's Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Mike managed to stay on his feet for much of this day, but when he is on the bench, he has got a little extra cushioning now. A lot's been made about Riley having missed some practice time in the last couple of weeks, and there's been some suggestion that along with his cold, it hasn't seemed to have gone away. He's also got a bit of a back problem, and he does, but it's nothing more than the usual wear and tear of the regular season, especially when you saw the number of hits he got earlier. But I'm also led to believe that he's got a bit of a backside problem, and that's why the Lions have brought in some extra cushioning on the bench for him to just make sure he's a little more comfortable when he sits and when he leans back. Right now, of course, Odell Willis, he and Mike are very close. Odell keeping the seat warm for him, but something to keep an eye on as the season progresses here, guys.
Now that's in-depth reporting.
Ariel. Hey, spread left west.
First 5 touchdown performance of his career tonight. His most yardage was against the Argos back in 2013, and now tonight, most touchdowns in a game.
Well, and,
against Toronto.
And based on what Farhan just said, these are valuable reps for Danny O'Brien. Not that they're going to lose Mike Riley, but
he knows who to go to early, doesn't he?
Yeah, and you know, just to get some live reps and some live action. He hasn't thrown a lot of passes in the CFL. He's 107 attempts coming into this game tonight total. He's got 111 attempts. No matter what the score.
Second and a few chain links.
Because we are at least going to next week with BC.
A month ago, that game against Edmonton's going to matter. I think they would have taken it.
No question. You were looking for win number 2 a month ago.
Crazy. Hey, Brown. 9 carries, 18 yards. Brown. Hey, son.
And the sneak didn't need much, didn't get much, but should move the chains. Largest shutout win in CFL history was 56-0.
That wasn't a Labor Day rematch, was it?
I believe you're familiar with that one.
No, it wasn't a Labor Day rematch, but I am familiar with that one.
Yikes.
Regular 92.
Where was the safety there?
I'd like to say I missed that one due to injury, but I didn't miss one due to injury.
Nothing there for Lyles. Who was the quarterback that put 56 on the board against
I
him?
don't remember. I tried, and I've tried to forget that one, and thank you for reminding me. And yeah, but this has been
Spread left.
a beat down.
17 to wide. S flare right. Alpha ready.
You've said it a few times, and I think it's worth repeating that if you've crossed the stripes, you usually had one of these.
Oh yeah, I mean you have. I think the troubling part for Toronto here, though, is that they weren't ready to play out of the gate. You know, like that first quarter was just awful. And I'm talking about lack of effort, just no fight at all. And it's been better in the second half, but nowhere near good enough. And
no penalty.
That's the understatement of the night. But whether it's the coaching staff, Jacques Chap for pride.
Lions have won the time of possession 8 consecutive games now, but nothing like tonight. They've had the football for nearly 42 minutes.
Back in the Game, the new album from Chad Brownlee. Listen now on Apple Music.
So the trade deadline, I believe, is October 10th or right in there. So have the Argonauts got any calls from a couple of teams around the league that
does a team with a need for quarterback insurance?
Yeah.
Are they interested in number 4?
A lot of wins for the Argos this year, but if you're even Hamilton, Dane Evans is looking fantastic. They've got David Watford and Hayden Moore behind him. Chris Strebler put over 200 on in the loss to Saskatchewan before this game, but behind him is Sean McGuire. Is Winnipeg acquiring just for depth?
There's SJ with his first catch of the night. It comes at the 3-minute warning. Going to be third down Toronto as we hit the 3-minute warning here in Vancouver.
It's that special time of year again.
It's iPhone season at Sprint.
Switch and get
the new iPhone 11 or iPhone 11 Pro with amazing all-new camera systems. And now you can get iPhone 11 for $0 a month when you trade in your iPhone 7 or newer in any condition.
We're Jack Daniels, the oldest, realest, truest, squarest, hippest, whiskiest whiskey from Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Don't get mad. Put your money to work with E-Trade's easy-to-use investing tools.
Telluride. Built to make each trip a story. Tales worthy of becoming fine, leather-bound books. And because of the available 6 built-in USB charging ports, none of those books will begin. Chapter 1. Today, our phones all died.
Save on foods today.
Molson Canadian Leafs hockey continues Monday. The Maple Leafs will play host to the defending Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. Catch the action at 6:30 Eastern on TSN 4 in the Leaf region and on TSN Radio 1050.
You know, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have lost 3 in a row. Haven't been able to regroup since the big Montreal comeback.
And we know Matt Nichols is done for the year.
Matt Nichols out for the year. Trade deadline coming up. I'm not suggesting for a second that Cloud Bethel Thompson takes Chris Streveler's job.
Langford tossed out. Look ahead to next week's action, Friday night doubleheader, Argos and Red Blacks. Then that big battle for first in the West. Can't wait for that from McMahon and Saturday. Alouettes and Blue Bombers. And then the Lions and the Eskimos in a pre-playoff game. And a live mic game from Commonwealth.
Boy, that Alouettes team's been an outstanding story this year. And this time it wasn't Vernon Adams in a big offensive game in the fourth quarter to bring him back. They won on defense against the Calgary Stampeders earlier today. I believe it was four turnovers in the second half, I believe it was. Got a big return in the special teams. They're finding ways to win. They believe in each other. They believe in Kahari Jones. So, I mean, that's been a real interesting story. Our Edmonton BC game next week will be outstanding. Lions scrapping and getting back in the discussion.
And Saskatchewan-Calgary is, this might be the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, biggest of the year.
Whoops. Lyles can't make the catch. Darby, in case it was a lateral, takes it to the end zone, but it is an incompletion. Punt team comes on.
So Chris Cuthbert, GM, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, are you inquiring?
My question is, and I would be concerned about depth at quarterback. How quickly can a quarterback get up to speed with the new system is a question.
Good question. You know, you could probably a couple of weeks for sure to get the terminology down, but again, you're not asking him to go in and start or anything like that.
If you're doing that, you've determined he's not your guy going forward, which I guess is something Jim Pop has to consider before he deals a quarterback, no matter which one it is. Take a look at the updated standings. The decision desk went home early tonight.
Saskatchewan in first in the West. Calgary a game behind, and we just showed you the schedule. They play next weekend.
It's amazing. Winnipeg was the leader in the West for how many weeks, and suddenly they're in third looking up. But if they did, wow. Flag down. Bethel Thompson. The Curly Gittins dropped at the 35. Again, flag on the play.
Yep. Ranger.
Now the playoffs not far away, and we have a feeling they're going to be spectacular.
Well, in this last 4 weeks are going to be like playoffs
Offside.
for most of the games.
BC.
I mean,
it's a 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Take a look at that Edmonton BC game. BC still trying to fight back into it, and Saskatchewan Calgary, I mean, that could go down to the wire where As we mentioned, BC's got to play Saskatchewan and Calgary to finish the season off.
Hey, got the shallow. Friday!
Wendell Thompson in trouble, and he is dropped. Sack for Corey Toomer, his first of the...
I am still, though, I mean, it's interesting that if we had the discussion a couple of years ago when James Franklin went to Toronto from the Edmonton Eskimos, I mean, there was rumors and discussions that maybe Mike Riley should be traded from.
It's true, he was
going to the NFL,
he
possibly.
Was everybody's favorite next guy.
Yeah,
no question.
And then he went with Trestman, and it just didn't work with him and Mark Trestman. I mean, James Franklin somehow, I remember in the offseason talking with the media to Mark Trestman, who was then the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts. And
after the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness. BC, number 29, 15 yards, automatic first down.
And I think the question was almost immediate. How quickly will James Franklin become the starting quarterback? And Ricky Ray was there at the time. And Mark Trestman said it was completely disrespectful to even bring up the question. But that's how people thought about James Franklin at that time. He was going to be the guy.
Thompson over the middle, complete. And Curly Gittins has the catch and a first down.
But again, I think it's part of the combination of the talent of a quarterback in conjunction with the offensive coordinator and slash quarterback coach, or the three of them if there's a separate quarterback coach, and the head coach being the fourth element. And that chemistry is so important.
Over the middle, Smith can't hang on. Argos have 6 first downs on the night, 78 net yards.
So now we're talking that between the two of them, if you were Winnipeg and you were interested in a trade, you might not trade for James Franklin, who you still think athletically and age-wise has the better upside. But you're talking about McLeod Bethel Thompson because of the numbers that he's put up this year, at times in losses, but 300-yard games passing.
Blitz off the edge. Got it away. Brady the catch, but pays for it. That's Kevin Haynes on the scene. BC in the last 6 games has allowed an average of 200 yards passing a game, and tonight it's much better than that. 18 net passing yards.
Out left.
Leaving the offense out on 3rd and 13.
Wide, back it. Whoa.
Timeout, Toronto.
Had to call timeout. It's the last Lions shutout. It was against Toronto. It was a long time ago. 42 years later.
There's a little foreshadowing to player of the game, possibly there. The human highlight reel.
Timer, reset the clock to read 4-0. Reset the clock to read 4-0.
Well, there'll be 2 highlights. One will be controversial, but the other is flat out just the best play we've seen today.
Well, the first one's in the books anyway, so it's in the books. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was close. They ruled. He had the foot in and control. It's done deal now.
Been a done deal for a while. They'll swing it to Smith. Cross midfield, makes a man miss. And it gets the Argos a first down into Lion territory.
Outright! Outright! Outright!
This is where you dig to just try and break the shutout. Just something.
665, 665. Cobra, Cobra. Got a wide, out, got a wide. Apache, Apache. 665, 665. Cobra, Cobra.
Darrell Walker's walking out. He doesn't know what to call this, I don't think.
25-yard play for Smith. Gets him into field goal range. Fires to the sidelines. Walker's got it. There you go. Got pulled back by Preston Butler. So the only suspense on the night is whether or not they'll break the shutout. And when it's 55-0, do you even line up for a field goal?
Apache, Apache.
No, you take a shot.
Wide, 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 wide. 65 with a wide.
Throw it deep twice.
Hey, Friday! Friday! First up.
There's a shot in the end zone. Armani Edwards, touchdown.
Well, we showed the font. We showed the font.
And in hockey, you never talk about the shutout. I'm not sure about the superstition rules in football, but yeah, apparently they probably apply. And McLeod Bethel Thompson has his 20th touchdown pass of the year. How about that? He has 20, and Mike Riley with 5 tonight has 20.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, McLeod Bethel Thompson has put some numbers up.
Lead in that department. And they'll go for 2.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Friday! Friday!
For receivers, he's looking that way. On a roll, but anybody open? Jump, and Edwards has got that. So back-to-back catches puts 8 on the board for the Argos with 6 seconds left. The Nissan Titan player of the game is brought to you by the Nissan Titan.